How's it going today, guys? In today's episode, we're going to be visiting the old Northrup Canyon homestead, and I have a story about it to tell you guys. This is the house here, out here at Northrup Canyon in Washington State. And it used to be owned by the Northrups, obviously. And John Northrup, he was born in the early 1800s, and him and his wife, his first wife, I believe, they immigrated from Canada and came out this way. But John Northrup would remarry after his wife died, and the wife that he lived with out here, she was really a go-getter and a hard worker. She was a tiny lady, but everybody respected her, and she was one of those people that really got things done. And the cool thing about this Northrup Canyon farmstead is back in the day, this area was like the breadbasket of the community. Mr. Northrup had farms out here and a big orchard, and he grew all kinds of stuff, and people from all around the area would come here and buy food and trade and whatnot. And this is what's left of the Northrup Canyon farmstead here. John Northrup would die, and he would leave his wife out here to kind of try to run and manage the farm, and that's where tragedy struck, because she ended up renting part of the farmland to this guy. I believe his name was Israel Sanford, and he wasn't there 100% mentally, and he started not getting along with Mrs. Northrup, and they started having financial disputes. He even went as far as to claiming that she would dig out the trees in his part of the land and replant them on her part of the land. Well, anyways, long story short, Israel came up here, I believe. I'm not sure the exact area where it was on the farmstead, but he shot and killed Mrs. Northrup, and he would later be caught, and he would go to trial and all that, but he was declared too mentally incompetent to take responsibility for the murder of Mrs. Northrup. So he got away with it in a sense, and just kind of a creepy, tragic story that basically ended the Northrup Canyon homestead as we know it. This house is in relatively good shape, mainly because they put the metal roof on the house a long time ago, as you can see. Had it not been for the metal roof, I think this house would be just as deteriorated, if not more, than most of the farmhouses that we've been to already. But as you can see, vandals still make their way through and like to destroy crap. I just think kids and young adults, they don't realize the historical importance of things until they get older, you know, and it's unfortunate for reasons like this. I mean, you could tell somebody came up here and just destroyed the bathroom on purpose. I mean, there's no need for this. It's clearly just kids being stupid and not realizing what they're doing. But yeah, this place had full water hookups and power at one time even. I think Mr. Northrup purchased the land in 1889, so I don't know how old the house is, but I know they came out here in the late 1880s and early 1890s. It's the living room here. They don't want nobody on the porch anymore. It's probably unstable, or the Park Service or whatever just didn't want anybody out there destroying the porch either, putting themselves in danger, being stupid. The windows are getting boarded up now, and let's check out the kitchen. It's not much to this kitchen. It's just a little area with one countertop and a sink, and these windows weren't always boarded up like this either. It's kind of a new thing, I think, since people have been coming out here and breaking crap more and more and more over the last 10 years. It's just gotten really bad out here. So now let's head downstairs, see how the basement looks. Like I said, this house is still in relatively good shape just because the state maintains it a little bit. And that roof, it really expands a house's life. If the roof's taken care of, the house is gonna stick around for a lot longer than if the roof is leaking. You notice down here, there's just a lot of shelf space and really a pretty nice basement for an old farmer homestead basement. And again, I don't know why people do stuff like this. This guy just doesn't seem like a very smart person to vandalize a property like this and put his name and number on the wall. But I'm here to study history. I'm not here to study the mental capacity of stupid people. Got an old stove here. It's a really nice sunny day out. Spring is in the air in Eastern Washington, as you can see. Let's go check out what's in here. Some old stuff here. What is this, you guys? Is this a furnace or what? Damn, that's an old piece of equipment though, isn't it? Try to give you guys a better look at it here. D522. Definitely an interesting old farmstead. They sure did put a nice foundation on this house. And there's an old water tank there with some old electric hookups. This house is interesting because it's a mix of old pioneer homestead with the new world, and you can kind of tell that updates were made on this place probably in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s and whatnot. It's a really nice day out today. The sun's shining, the animals are out. Now I'm going to show you guys some of the outposts in this homestead that are pretty cool too. There's a lot to this area. There's a lot of history here. The Northrup family, they were an interesting family. I read a book that was written about them, and I wanted to share the book with you guys, but there's a lot of copyright issues that go along with that, and I just didn't feel like dealing with it. If you guys know anything about me, I hate all that copyright stuff. I don't care if somebody uses any of my videos or anything I put online, because I'd rather the history get out more so than me, myself, being known for anything. But that's just me. I don't really know what the number 25 means, but This looks like it was like a old spot for one of the farmer helpers to stay while they were helping the Northrups work on the farm and the orchard. And because this definitely wasn't a one-man show. If you look at the size of this area, they really did a lot with this land back in the day. Like I said, Mr. Northrup, he was a really good farmer, and he grew all kinds of stuff out here. He didn't just have an orchard. I mean, he grew peanuts and just all kinds of stuff that you wouldn't even think could grow out here. He tried it, and he succeeded more times than not. As you can see, a lot of this history is just starting to fall apart. I remember when I was a kid, you could walk in this area here and everything was still up, but look at it now. And that's what happens when you have vandals and no roof on a place. Vandals and no roof, that's a pretty rough combination to withstand there, on top of the climate and everything else. I picked a pretty good time to come out here. Springtime's really good in this area because you get a lot of sun, but you don't have to deal with that summer heat, and most importantly, you don't have to deal with the rattlesnakes. In the summertime, all these bushes out here are probably 6 feet high, and there's snakes all over the place. You can hear them as you walk around, and this place is much more overgrown than it is now. It's a really good shot of the Northrup Canyon house right there. Let's check out this building a little bit more from the outside. You can see how beat up it is and how much damage it's taken. It looks like somebody came out here and put these boards up here like this to help hold the structure up, although, like, I'm just going to be honest, I don't see the point, and I don't see where that's going to really do any good in the long run. I mean, the place is falling apart through and through. You could see it used to be some kind of a little log cabin back in the day. I think it was extra housing, probably for the Northrup family themselves, or, like I said, the farmhands, because they had to have a place to stay too. And they didn't need much, you know, especially back in the day. A little room like this would be sufficient for multiple people because they were out working from sunrise to sunset anyways. And here's the other side of the destroyed half. I don't know, this just seems like a extra little house to me. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. Looks like that board just broke in half and just landed that way. At first I thought somebody put that board up to help hold the roof up, but yeah, this place has definitely seen better days, and it probably won't be standing in 10 years. That's why I'm glad I at least have the pictures that I have. It's pretty interesting being out here too, because I usually don't make it out here during the springtime. I'm in Puerto Rico or I'm doing something else, so I haven't ever really had the chance to walk out here. It looks pretty wet. I could see some water flowing over there a little bit, but I'm just wondering what this is right here. Is this the water and power hookup or what? Yeah, Yep, it looks like this is where they put their power in back in the day. There were probably poles or something maybe that went over to the house, or was it all underground? I really don't know, but if anybody in the comments knows how this whole thing was set up, I really would be interested in knowing. Let's check this out. Said I'm not quite sure what it is. Is this the well that was punched for water back in the day, or what? There's some more structures back here too that I want to show you guys. Like I was saying earlier in the episode, this farmhouse and homestead is pretty interesting just because somebody was murdered out here. I don't think anybody knows the exact details either. I've read a couple conflicting stories about how Mrs. Northrup was murdered and where she was murdered and exactly what happened, but I don't think anybody knows for sure. That roof just really caught my eye. You see the old cedar shakes and stuff up there. The roof is why this structure looks like this, and why that structure looks like that. I'm telling you guys, the roof is everything. If you don't have a roof, you don't have anything, and everything will fall apart super fast without one. I'm going to take you guys up this trail here because I'm going to show you guys some more structures that were left up here. Mr. Northrup and his wife, they were very smart, hardworking, and industrious people, so they did a lot with a little out here. This is one of the more impressive homesteads out here in eastern Washington. You could still see some of their old fencing from back in the day that hasn't fallen down. Let's look at some of these structures over here, you guys. Look at the roof on that one. It's just such a shame that everything's falling apart like this. Just so much history here. Why don't we build little small houses like this anymore, you guys?